I've studied millionaires for 40 years, and I've discovered something that will shock you. The wealthy don't work harder than poor people. They work less. They don't do more things. They do fewer things. They don't say yes more often. They say no more often. In fact, the average millionaire says no to 90% of the opportunities that come their way. They turn down good deals to wait for great deals. They reject profitable projects to focus on game-changing projects. They abandon busy work to concentrate on wealth work. This goes against everything you've been taught about success, but it's the truth. While poor people are trying to catch every opportunity like butterflies with a net, rich people are hunting specific opportunities like snipers with a rifle. One scattered shot versus one perfect shot. Which approach do you think wins? The richest person I ever met kept a desk completely empty except for one single sheet of paper. When I asked him about it, he smiled and said, "Young man, I learned long ago that the secret to making millions is not doing more things. It's doing fewer things, but doing them with the intensity of a laser beam cutting through steel." That conversation changed everything for me. Here was a man worth over $50 million, and his entire day revolved around just 3 activities. 3. Not 30, not 13, 3. Most people wake up every morning and attack their day like a person trying to catch butterflies with their bare hands. They run from task to task, meeting to meeting, project to project, thinking that being busy means being productive. They wear their exhaustion like a badge of honor, telling everyone how many hours they worked, how many emails they answered, how many meetings they attended. But here's what I learned after studying successful people for over 40 years. Busy people are usually broke people. Focused people are usually wealthy people. Think about your own life right now. How many different things are you trying to accomplish? How many projects are sitting on your desk half finished? How many goals are you pursuing simultaneously? If you're like most people, the answer is too many. The human brain is not designed to multitask. Scientists have proven this over and over again. When you think you're multitasking, you're actually task snipping. Your brain is rapidly moving from one thing to another, and every time it switches, it loses energy and efficiency. It's like trying to cook 5 different meals at the same time on 5 different stoves. You'll burn everything. I once worked with a woman named Rachel who owned a small marketing company. She came to me frustrated and overwhelmed. She was working 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, and her business was barely surviving. She had her hands in everything: social media management, website design, copywriting, consulting, public relations, and graphic design. "I'm good at all of these things," she told me. "I can't afford to turn away business." I asked her a simple question, "Rachel, if you could only do one thing for the rest of your life and you had to make $1 million doing it, what would it be?" She thought for a long moment. "Copywriting," she said. "I can write sales copy that makes people buy. I've been doing it since college, and I'm better at it than anyone I know." "Then why are you doing 5 other things?" That question stopped her cold. She had no good answer. I challenged her to try something radical. For the next 90 days, she would only accept copywriting projects. No websites, no social media management, no consulting, just copywriting. "But what if I lose money?" she asked. "What if you make money?" I replied. 6 months later, Rachel called me. Her voice was different, calmer, more confident. "I just signed my biggest client ever," she said. "They're paying me more for one project than I used to make in 3 months doing everything, by focusing on just one thing." Rachel had become known as the go-to copywriter in her city. Her reputation grew, her prices increased, her stress decreased. She was making more money working 30 hours a week than she had working 80 hours a week. This is the power of doing fewer things. But there's something deeper happening here. When you try to do everything, you become average at everything. When you focus on doing fewer things, you become exceptional at those things. And in today's world, average doesn't pay the bills, exceptional does. The marketplace rewards specialists, not generalists. It rewards people who can solve specific problems better than anyone else. It rewards people who can say, this is what I do, and I do it better than anyone in the world. Most people are afraid to choose. They think that by keeping all their options open, they're being smart. But keeping all your options open is the fastest way to achieve nothing. It's like trying to hit 10 targets with one arrow. You'll miss them all. Successful people are ruthless about elimination. They know that every yes to something unimportant is a no to something important. They know that their attention is their most valuable resource, and they guard it like a precious jewel. When I started my career, I made the same mistake everyone makes. I said yes to everything. I took on every project, attended every meeting, pursued every opportunity. I was busy from morning until night, but I wasn't getting anywhere. Then I met that millionaire with the empty desk. His simple philosophy became my philosophy. Do fewer things, but do them with complete dedication and focus. The results were immediate and dramatic. My income increased, my stress decreased, my relationships improved, my health got better, all because I learned to say no to good things so I could say yes to great things. Here's what I want you to understand. Your current approach to productivity is probably wrong. You've been taught that more is better. You've been taught that busy is good. You've been taught that if you're not exhausted at the end of the day, you haven't worked hard enough. All of that is nonsense. The truth is this: less is more. Focus is power. And the person who can concentrate all their energy on one thing will always beat the person who spreads their energy across many things. Starting today, you're going to learn how to harness this power. You're going to learn how to identify what truly matters and eliminate everything else. You're going to learn how to become a laser beam instead of a flashlight. Because when you focus your energy like a laser beam, you don't just improve your results, you transform your entire life. Now, let me show you exactly why this works, because once you understand the science behind it, you'll never go back to your old scattered ways of working. There's a principle called the 80/20 rule, and it will change how you think about everything. This rule says that 80% of your results come from 20% of your activities. Let me repeat that. 80% of your results come from just 20% of what you do. This means that if you make a list of everything you did yesterday, only 2 out of every 10 activities actually mattered. The other 8 were either neutral or actually harmful to your progress. I saw this principle in action when I consulted for a software company in Texas. The owner, David, was working 18-hour days and his company was struggling. When we analyzed his activities for 1 week, we found something shocking. He was spending 80% of his time on administrative tasks, employee disputes, and minor technical issues. Only 20% of his time was spent on sales and product development, the 2 things that actually generated revenue. We restructured his schedule so he spent 80% of his time on sales and product development. Within 6 months, his company's revenue had doubled. Same man, same company, same market. The only difference was where he focused his energy. But here's what most people don't understand about the 80/20 rule. It applies to everything. 80% of your income comes from 20% of your clients. 80% of your problems come from 20% of your people. 80% of your happiness comes from 20% of your activities. Your job is to identify that magical 20% and eliminate everything else. But there's something even more powerful happening in your brain when you focus. Scientists have discovered that your brain treats decisions like a muscle. Every time you make a decision, that muscle gets a little weaker. By the end of the day, your decision-making ability is exhausted. This is why successful people make fewer decisions, not more. They don't waste their mental energy deciding what to wear, what to eat, or which route to take to work. They save their decision-making power for the choices that actually matter. Steve Jobs wore the same black turtleneck every day. Mark Zuckerberg wears the same gray t-shirt. Barack Obama only wore blue or gray suits as president. These people understand that mental energy is limited, and they refuse to waste it on trivial choices. Here's another scientific fact that will blow your mind. When you focus deeply on one task for an extended period, your brain actually changes. It develops what neuroscientists call deep work pathways. These pathways allow you to think faster, solve problems more creatively, and produce higher quality work. But these pathways only develop when you focus without distraction. Every time you check your phone, respond to an email, or switch tasks, you interrupt this process. It's like trying to build a road, but stopping every few minutes to tear up what you have already built. I worked with a writer named Jennifer who was struggling to finish her first novel. She had been working on it for 3 years, writing in scattered 30-minute sessions between other activities. Her progress was painfully slow, and she was ready to give up. I suggested she try something different. Instead of writing a little bit every day, she would write for 4 hours straight. 3 days a week, nothing else. No phone, no internet, no distractions, just writing. The first week was difficult. Her brain wasn't used to sustained focus. But by the third week, something magical happened. She entered what psychologists call flow state, that zone where time seems to disappear and you're completely absorbed in what you're doing. In the next 6 months, Jennifer wrote more than she had in the previous 3 years combined. Her novel was published, became a bestseller, and launched her career as a professional writer. This is the multiplication effect of focused attention. 1 hour of focused work produces more results than 4 hours of scattered work. It's not just addition, it's multiplication. Your brain is designed to focus deeply on one thing at a time. When you honor this design, you tap into a level of performance you never knew you had. When you fight against it by multitasking and switching between activities, you operate at a fraction of your potential. The most successful people in the world have learned to work with their brain's natural design, not against it. They understand that attention is their most valuable resource, and they invest it wisely. Think about your own work right now. How often do you check your phone during important tasks? How many browser tabs do you have open? How many different projects are you juggling? Every distraction is stealing your potential. Every task hop is reducing your effectiveness. Every scattered moment is costing you the life you really want. The science is clear. Focused attention creates exponential results. The question is, are you ready to harness this power? Now that you understand why focus works, let me give you the exact tools to make it happen in your life, because understanding the theory is worthless without practical application. The first tool is what I call the 4-box method. Take a sheet of paper and draw 2 lines, one horizontal, one vertical. You now have 4 boxes. Label them urgent and important, important but not urgent, urgent but not important, and neither urgent nor important. Everything you do falls into one of these boxes. Most people spend their lives in the wrong boxes. They live in urgent but not important, answering emails that don't matter, attending meetings that accomplish nothing, putting out fires that someone else should handle. Successful people live in important but not urgent. This is where you plan, prepare, prevent problems, and build for the future. This is where you develop new skills, strengthen relationships, and create systems that generate long-term results. When I taught this method to Marcus, a restaurant owner in Chicago, he was shocked by what he discovered. He was spending 6 hours a day on urgent but unimportant tasks, dealing with minor customer complaints, micromanaging staff, and constantly checking social media for reviews. Meanwhile, he was neglecting the important work of menu development, staff training, and marketing strategy. He shifted his focus. Marcus spent his first 2 hours each morning on important but not urgent activities. He developed new menu items, trained his managers, and planned marketing campaigns. The urgent stuff, he delegated it or eliminated it completely within 4 months. His restaurant's revenue increased by 40%. His stress levels dropped dramatically. His staff became more independent and capable, all because he learned to work in the right box. But here's where most people struggle. They don't know how to say no. They think saying no will hurt their relationships or limit their opportunities. This is completely backwards. Learning to say no is the most important skill you can develop. Here's how to say no without damaging relationships. First, always say no to the request, not the person. I can't take on that project right now. Instead of, I don't want to help you. Second, offer an alternative when possible. I can't do it, but here's someone who can. Third, explain your reasoning briefly, but don't over-justify. I'm committed to finishing my current project by the deadline. The key is to be firm but friendly. People respect clear boundaries more than wishy-washy, maybe responses. Technology is your biggest enemy in this battle for focus. Your phone is not a tool, it's a weapon designed to destroy your concentration. Every notification is an assault on your attention. Every app is engineered to be addictive. Set strict technology boundaries. Turn off all non-essential notifications. Check email only at designated times. Use your phone's do not disturb mode during focused work periods. Keep your phone in another room when you're doing important tasks. I know this sounds extreme, but extreme problems require extreme solutions. The average person checks their phone 96 times per day. That's once every 10 minutes during waking hours. No wonder they can't focus on anything meaningful. Here's another powerful tool, the energy audit. For 1 week, track everything you do and how it makes you feel. Some activities energize you and move you forward, others drain you and pull you backward. The goal is to maximize energizing activities and minimize draining ones. Lisa, a marketing consultant, discovered through her energy audit that client phone calls energized her while writing proposals drained her. She restructured her business to do more consulting calls and hired a freelancer to write proposals. Her income increased because she was operating from her zone of strength instead of struggling in her zone of weakness. The elimination strategy isn't about being lazy or avoiding work. It's about being strategic and intentional. It's about recognizing that your time and energy are finite resources that must be invested wisely. Every successful person you admire became successful by saying no to thousands of opportunities so they could say yes to the few that really mattered. They became masters of elimination, not addition. Starting today, you're going to become a master of elimination too. Knowing what to eliminate is only half the battle. The other half is building systems that keep you focused on what matters most. Without systems, you'll drift back to your old scattered ways within a week. The first system is the 3-priority rule. Every morning, before you check your phone or email, write down 3 things that must be accomplished that day. Not 10 things, not 5 things, 3 things. These aren't just any 3 things. They must be the 3 most important activities that will move you closest to your biggest goals. Here's the key. You cannot work on priority number 2 until priority number 1 is completely finished. You cannot work on priority number 3 until priority number 2 is done. This forces you to focus with laser intensity on one thing at a time. When I taught this to Robert, a financial advisor, he was skeptical. "I have too many urgent things happening," he said. "I can't ignore everything else." I challenged him to try it for just 1 week. His first priority every day became prospecting for new clients, the activity that generated the most revenue, but that he always postponed because it wasn't urgent by the end of the week. Robert had secured 3 new clients worth over $50.00 in annual fees. "I've been in this business for 12 years, he told me, "and I've never had a week like that. The 3 priority rule forced me to do what I knew I should do, but never had time for." The second system is time blocking. Instead of keeping a to-do list, you're going to schedule specific blocks of time for specific activities. A to-do list is just a wish list. A calendar is a commitment. Block out your most important work during your peak energy hours. For most people, this is the first 3 hours of the day. Don't schedule meetings during these hours. Don't check email. Don't take phone calls. This is your sacred time for your most important work. Block out time for everything, not just work tasks, but also exercise, family time, and personal development. What gets scheduled gets done. What doesn't get scheduled gets pushed aside for urgent things that aren't really important. Amanda, a small business owner, started time blocking her schedule and discovered something amazing. She was accomplishing more in her blocked hours than she used to accomplish in entire days. "It's like having a personal assistant," she said, "except the assistant is my own discipline." The third system is the weekly review. Every Sunday evening, spend 30 minutes reviewing the previous week and planning the next one. Ask yourself 3 questions. What worked well? What didn't work? What will I do differently next week? This review keeps you from repeating mistakes and helps you continuously improve your focus and productivity. It's like having a weekly coaching session with yourself. The fourth system is intelligent delegation and automation. Anything that can be done by someone else should be done by someone else. Anything that can be automated should be automated. Your job is to focus on the activities that only you can do. Start small. Hire a cleaning service. Use grocery delivery. Automate your bill payments. Each small delegation frees up mental energy for more important decisions. Build a support network that protects your focus. Tell your family and friends about your new commitment to doing fewer things. Ask them to respect your focused work time. Surround yourself with people who understand and support your goals. Finally, track your progress. What gets measured gets managed. Keep a simple record of how you spend your time and what results you achieve. This data will motivate you to stay focused when you're tempted to go back to your old scattered ways. These systems aren't suggestions, they're requirements for success. Successful people don't just have good intentions, they have systems that guarantee good results. Now, let me tell you about the most powerful force in the universe, the compound effect. When you consistently do fewer things with greater focus, something magical happens. Your results don't just improve, they multiply exponentially. Think about water dripping on a rock. 1 drop does nothing. 100 drops do nothing. But 1,000,000 drops applied consistently in the same spot will eventually carve a hole through solid granite. This is the power of compound action. I learned this lesson from a man named Thomas, who changed my entire perspective on what's possible when you truly commit to doing fewer things. Thomas was a struggling insurance salesman when I first met him. He was making about $30.00 a year and was ready to quit the business. Like most struggling salespeople, Thomas was trying to do everything. He was cold calling, attending networking events, posting on social media, running newspaper ads, and trying every marketing strategy he could find. He was busy 14 hours a day, but getting nowhere. When I asked him what he was best at, he said, "I'm great at explaining complex insurance policies to people. Once I'm sitting across from someone, I can help them understand exactly what they need. But I'm terrible at getting those appointments." I suggested he try something radical. For the next 6 months, he would only do 2 things: make appointments and conduct appointments, nothing else. He would stop all other marketing activities and focus like a laser beam on these 2 activities. Thomas was terrified. "What if I don't get enough appointments?" he asked. "Then you'll know exactly what to fix," I replied. "Right now. You're failing at 10 different things. It's impossible to know what's working and what isn't. Focus on 2 things, and you'll know immediately where to improve." The first month was rough. Thomas made more calls than he ever had before, but his appointment rate was low. Instead of getting distracted by other activities, he studied his calling technique. He practiced his scripts. He tracked his numbers religiously. By the 3rd month, his appointment rate had doubled. By the 6th month, it had tripled. He was booking more appointments in 1 week than he used to book in a month. But here's where the compound effect really kicked in. Because Thomas was only focusing on 2 activities, he became exceptionally good at both. His closing rate improved dramatically, his referral rate increased, his confidence soared within 18 months. Thomas was making $200, 0 cents a year. Within 3 years, he was making $500, 0 cents. Within 5 years, he owned his own agency with 12 employees. The transformation wasn't just financial. Thomas looked different. He carried himself differently. He spoke with confidence and authority. He had become a master of his craft instead of a jack of all trades. This is what happens when you commit to doing fewer things. You don't just improve incrementally, you transform completely. But mastery requires more than just focus. It requires the discipline to maintain that focus when everyone around you is pulling you in different directions. It requires the courage to say no to good opportunities so you can say yes to great ones. The world will test your commitment. Your phone will ring with urgent requests. Your email will fill with important opportunities. Your friends will invite you to networking events and social gatherings. Every day, you'll be tempted to add more activities to your schedule. This is where most people fail. They start strong, but they gradually allow their focus to drift. They add one small project, then another, then another. Before they know it, they're back to their old scattered ways. To prevent this, you must develop what I call focus habits. These are automatic behaviors that protect your concentration without requiring willpower. Start each day by reviewing your 3 priorities before you do anything else. End each day by planning tomorrow's 3 priorities. Check your phone only at designated times. Keep your workspace clear of distractions. These habits must become as automatic as brushing your teeth. The compound effect also applies to your reputation. When you consistently deliver exceptional results in a focused area, people notice. They start recommending you to others. They come to you with bigger opportunities. They pay you more because they know you're the best at what you do. Thomas didn't just become wealthy. He became the go-to insurance expert in his city. People sought him out because they knew he understood their needs better than anyone else. His focused expertise had created a valuable reputation that generated opportunities effortlessly. His influence provided an awareness and light opportunities. This is the ultimate goal of doing fewer things, to become so good at what you do that opportunities come to you instead of you chasing opportunities. But here's what I want you to understand. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. It requires patience, persistence, and unwavering commitment. There will be days when you doubt yourself. There will be moments when you're tempted to give up and go back to your old ways. These moments are tests. They're opportunities to prove to yourself that you're serious about creating the life you want. Every time you resist the temptation to scatter your attention, you're building the mental muscle that will carry you to success. The people who achieve extraordinary results aren't necessarily more talented or more intelligent than everyone else. They're simply more focused. They understand that in a world full of distractions, the ability to concentrate on what matters most is a superpower. Starting tomorrow morning, you have a choice. You can continue living the scattered life that's gotten you to where you are today, or you can commit to the focused life that will take you where you want to go. I challenge you to pick 3 things, just 3, that will have the biggest impact on your life and career. Write them down. Put them somewhere you'll see them every day. For the next 90 days, focus on these 3 things with the intensity of a laser beam. Eliminate everything else. Say no to the urgent but unimportant. Delegate what others can do. Automate what can be automated. Protect your time and attention like your life depends on it. Because it does. The life you really want, the income, the relationships, the freedom, the impact, all of it depends on your ability to focus on what matters most. The time for scattered living is over. The time for focused living begins now. Your future self is counting on the decision you make today. Do fewer things, do them with complete dedication. Watch your life transform in ways you never thought possible. The choice is yours. The time is now. Your extraordinary life is waiting